On a chill, windswept night in the heart of Washington, D.C., within the storied walls of the White House, a tale unfolded that would etch itself into the annals of the paranormal. It was a time when the nation was torn by war, and its leader, President Abraham Lincoln, bore the heavy mantle of its fate. Amidst this backdrop of turmoil, Lincoln was to encounter something that transcended the woes of the nation, a ghostly harbinger in his own likeness. The story begins on an evening shadowed by the weight of war. Lincoln, weary from the day's burdens, sought a moment's respite in the solitude of his quarters. The room, steeped in history and whispered secrets, held a heavy air that night. As he stood before the antique mirror, a fixture that had reflected the visages of many a leader before him, Lincoln was seeking perhaps a moment of reflection, a brief escape from the storm outside. But what he saw in the glass was not the solitary, familiar reflection he expected. Instead, he was met with an image so startling, so unworldly, that it would forever alter his perception of the seen and unseen. Beside his own tired but resolute reflection, another figure materialized, ethereal and faint. It was his own visage, yet ghostly, pallid, as if drawn from the shadows themselves. This spectral double, a mirror image in every sense but one, its colorless, almost transparent quality, stared back at him with an intensity that pierced the veil of reality. In that moment, time seemed to stand still, the very air in the room thickening with an unspoken foreboding. The encounter, brief as it was, left an indelible mark on the president. It was the beginning of a story that would unfurl into one of the most haunting tales of the White House. In the aftermath of this chilling vision, Lincoln found himself enveloped in a cloud of deep contemplation and growing concern. The sight of his ghostly doppelganger lingered in his mind, casting long shadows over his thoughts. This was no ordinary reflection. It was as if the mirror had revealed a glimpse into another world, a world where shadows whispered secrets of things yet to come. The president, known for his keen intellect and stoic nature, could not easily dismiss this spectral encounter. Night after night, as the candles flickered in his study, he pondered the meaning of the apparition. Was it a figment of weariness, or something more profound, more ominous? Whispers of folklore and superstition of the era spoke of doppelgangers as harbingers of ill fortune, or even death. Such tales had been told across continents and cultures, often seen as an ill omen. Lincoln, a man not unfamiliar with the tragedies of life, could not help but wonder if this ghostly figure bore a warning from the shadowy realms beyond the living. His conversations with Mary Todd, his wife, often turned to this apparition. Mary, deeply spiritual and attuned to the supernatural, shared her own forebodings. The couple, already burdened by personal loss and the ongoing strife of the nation, now faced a new unseen uncertainty. The vision in the mirror had opened a door to a realm of spectral possibilities, intertwining their personal fears with the superstitions of the time. This chapter in Lincoln's encounter with his phantom self was marked by a growing sense of dread. It was a feeling that something significant, something inevitable was looming on the horizon. The president's nights were haunted not just by the concerns of a nation at war, but also by the eerie presence of his otherworldly twin, a silent spectre that seemed to be a portent of darker days to come. As the days progressed, the haunting image of Lincoln's spectral double refused to fade, etching itself into the corridors of his mind. The apparition, once a mere fleeting vision, had taken on a more ominous significance. It was no longer just an eerie anomaly, it had become a foreboding sign, a silent harbinger of doom. In the shadowed halls of the White House, where history was being written in the midst of tumultuous times, Lincoln's encounter with his ghostly doppelganger became a topic of hushed conversation and speculative whispers. Those privy to the story couldn't help but link it to the age-old superstitions that a spirit double often foretells tragedy. This interpretation was bolstered by the turbulent times that enveloped the nation. The Civil War, a conflict that had torn families and the country apart, cast a long dark shadow over the land. In such a context, Lincoln's vision took on a deeper, more sinister meaning, suggesting that the trials he faced were far from over, and perhaps the worst was yet to come. Mary Todd Lincoln, deeply affected by spiritualism and already burdened by her own personal losses, viewed the apparition as a dire portent. Her belief in the supernatural led her to fear for her husband's fate, a fear that was tragically prescient. When the fateful day at Ford's Theatre arrived, and the nation plunged into mourning, the memory of Lincoln's phantom encounter resurfaced with a chilling clarity. The ghostly double in the mirror, once a subject of intrigue and speculation, was now seen as a prophetic vision, a spectral warning of the tragedy that was to befall the president. The story of Lincoln's phantom, woven into the fabric of his legacy, remains one of the most compelling accounts of shadow people in history. It serves as a haunting reminder of the mysteries that lie just beyond the realm of our understanding, where history, folklore, and the paranormal intertwine.